Now, hello world. It seems that my recorder is running. So that was the first check. And hello everybody in this world. A lot of you understand English. Or it's easy to translate from English to your language. And it's clear that I got an accent because English is obviously not my native tongue. I'm from Denmark. I speak Danish normally, that's my native tongue. English is my second language, you could say. I got something to tell you people. We can get a little, that looks nice, doesn't it? Landscapes. The Christian dogma is clearly not of God because it contradicts. It speaks directly against the words of Jesus. Jesus said, I was sent by the Father. And that should be enough to understand that Jesus, with these words, say, I am not the Creator. Do not worship me as a God, because the honor is all my Father's, whom I call, me personally, who talks to you right now, the Father, Mother, or the Creator, or the Eternal One, or the Intelligent Designer. You can call God what you want, as long as it is God you are talking about. But you cannot call God the Creator Jesus, because Jesus is the Son of God, the Christ, whom God, the Father, Mother of us all, sent to tell us about the will of God. The good message, which the Christian dogma goes directly against. And I will now prove to you, with the words of Jesus himself, that the Christian dogma is a deliberate lie which directly contradicts Jesus. Are you ready? Here we go. And as I said, every time he said the Father which sent me, because I was sent by my Father, that should be enough, but let's underline it with his own words. The words of Jesus are my witness. Now I got a white background. It's a writing, it's an office program writing thing from Linux. So it's going to be a bright background, white and black letters. So prepare your eyes if you got full screen. I don't think you got, but maybe you do because you want to see the landscapes here. And here we go. This is my title. And here I tell you, Jesus confirmed that he is not the Creator. Let's start, I've just chosen 3. There are many, many, many places in the very Bible which the Christians claim are the truth of God all the way. It's all true, they say. But this tells us that the Christian dogma is a deliberate lie. which directly contradict Jesus. He that loved me not, he that loveth me not, keepeth not my sayings. And the word which ye hear is not mine. Jesus said this. The word which you hear is not mine, but the Father's, which sent me. You see, I use capital letters to underline this. This is what it says in the King James Version of the Bible. And I've chosen an old translation on purpose, because the newer translations are even worse. They water out, when they modernize the language and so on, they water out the truth, the words of Jesus. This is proof number one. Proof number two, which actually says the same. I came down from heaven not to do my own will. Not to do your own will, Jesus? But the will of him. Who is him that sent me? You cannot send yourself, can you? That would be nonsense. Nonsense. Ridiculous to claim that you can send yourself. Either you arrive yourself or you send someone else. Either you arrived and were sent by someone, or you were the one sent. You cannot send yourself. That is so much. But he says that. The words of Jesus just witness this. And I love this one because in 4 times in the same sentence, he underlines that he is not the creator. Jesus tells us, I can of my own self do nothing. That was number 1. As I hear, who tells God what to say and judge, how to judge? As I hear, that's number 2. I judge, and my judgment is just. Because I seek not my own will, that's number 3, but the will of the Father, which hath sent me. 4 times, that's number 4. So the words of Jesus are my witness to the Christian dogmatic deception. I have just proven that the Christians do not believe in Jesus. The Christians believe in the dogma which directly contradict Jesus, and which also directly contradicts the will of God, goes against the will of the God. They say, and this is a lie, they say, faith alone saves not the deeds. Then tell me, Christians, if the deeds are not the condition, if good deeds does not matter, if the deeds does not matter at all, only that you believe in the dogma, which is a man-made dogma, then you can theoretically be and do. You can be the most evil, unfair, evil, nasty devil. But as long as you believe in the dogma of Christianity, you would still, in spite of all your evil, be rewarded with an eternal life, eternal spirit, eternal spiritual life in the kingdom of heaven. No, of course not. What? That is the potential of evil. The potential of evil is limitless when you tell people that the deeds do not matter for your salvation. Oh, they do matter. I tell you that. And that's where you go. No, that's where the dogma goes against, directly against the will of God. Because of course you should seek to become righteous through your righteous deeds, righteous work, your righteous works. Of course you should seek to be fair and avoid being unfair. Of course you should seek to do good to others and avoid being evil. Of course that is the point of it all. Of course that is what it's all about. Of course that is the message Jesus came with. That is the core message he came with from God, which sent him. And he underlined that so many times because God knew, and therefore Jesus knew, that they would try to create a false God and steal his name and steal everything from the teaching of God and turn it around to an evil teaching. And who will try to fool you into not doing good and not avoid doing evil? Who would do that? It doesn't matter what you do because you will, as they falsely said, automatically be forgiven by God and be seen in the eyes of God as righteous as long as you believe in the Christian dogma, which is a man-made evil dogma which goes against the will of God. Who will teach you that it doesn't matter what you do, and you don't have to do good, and you don't have to avoid doing evil? You created, or those who created the Christian dogma, created I forgot my line of thought right there because it's so but who would teach you this? That is the point. You knew that you would use this, a creative false God, and steal the name Jesus and put on that God. So you, in the dogma, in your religion, can use that. So you would use that as an excuse not to do good and not to avoid doing evil, because as you say, no one can live up to God, so we don't have to do what Jesus said. And Jesus did everything for us, so we don't have to do what Jesus said we should do. That is why you created, or those who created the dogma of Christianity, that is why you say that. They created this false God called Jesus. Who would tell you not to do good? That you don't have to do good. That you don't have to avoid doing evil. That you don't have to be fair. That you don't have to avoid being unfair. Who would tell you that but the devil? Which to me is a picture or symbolizes evil intent. So people with evil intent created the dogma of Christianity. But you would call it the devil. And you can call it the devil because it's a very evil intent. You do not follow the will of God. You follow the will of the devil. How about that? If you follow the dogma of Christianity. And I say this because it's true. It's absolutely true. And you can see that the words of Jesus are my witness to the Christian deception, the Christian dogmatic deception. And you people who call yourself Christians, you pass on this lie to others. Many pass them on to their children, who grow up with this childhood belief and becomes just as blind as you to actually understand the words of Jesus as they are written right here. Do you understand the meaning of words? What it says it actually means. If it is supposed to be meant another way, he usually underlines a parable. This is a parable. This is not to be understood literally. But this, which I show you here, is to be understood literally. Because God knew that you would try to create a false God. God knew that you would hijack, as someone put it, I heard recently, all these things about the truth and turn them into a religion which went directly against the will of God. There are no one of you who wants to be going against the will of God, is there? Yet, if you stick to that dogmatic lie, Christianity, then that's exactly what you are doing. I would say that any religion, any spiritual teaching, which does not teach you that the most important thing is to practice righteousness, to avoid doing evil, but try to do good. If they don't teach you that is the most important, love thy neighbour as thyself. I got it right here, the moral idea of God, the law of love. This is the core of the law of love. The most important. If they don't teach you that, the spiritual teachers, whomever they call themselves and whatever they call their religion or belief or faith or whatever, if this is not the most important, what they say first of all, this is what we need to do. This is following the will of God. Then you must leave that religion or spiritual teaching or new religion, whatever, if that is not what they say, this. Because then they are not of God. They are of the world. And who is the prince of the world? Evil intent, which you call the devil. This, as I write here, is exactly the same as the short version here by Jesus. If you love Jesus, then you do what Jesus tells us is the will of God, who sent him. And that is exactly the same. You know this one, but I just added the missing part in the Bible. Because if you should do whatever all things whatever you would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. If that is the case, then you of course logically should not do the exact opposite. Should you? And this is very important. That's why I set it down here. Notice this. For this is the law. Now, what law are we talking about? Well, I put it on capital letter on the first. Law, on the L. Whose law is Jesus talking about here? And I already mentioned that, the law of love. God's law of love. That is the law, and the core of that law of love, the most important commandment, is this. If you strive to master this, to uphold this law of love, I have it written wrong here. Sorry about that. And it should not be a big one. It should be that one. What? Oh, I had it on capital letters. Okay. You should not do unto others you would, and you shall do unto others. You should not do unto others as you would not that others should do unto you. You shall do unto others as you would. I know you can read. That others should do unto you. This is the core. This is the most important. And if these teachings, spiritual teachings, so-called, or religions, or New Age, or anything that has to do with spirituality and the spiritual truth, if they do not teach this, then, as the most important thing, this is what you need to do, and the first thing they mention, if that is not it, the focus of it, if it's not that, then that teaching is not of God. Because this is the true teaching of God, or the teaching of the ultimate spiritual teacher, that is Jesus, whom God sent to do the will of God, to tell us the words of God, which are not Jesus, but the will and words of God. God would never say, I can of my own self do nothing, or any of these things. And the word which you hear is not mine. Would God say that? For I came down from heaven. Yes, he could say that, but not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. God will never say that. You see that I have just proven that the Christian dogma is not of God. It is of the world, and it is a deliberate lie which directly contradicts the words of Jesus and directly go against the will of God. It is a false, evil teaching by evil people with evil intent. You could call it the devil. Because who would tell you not to do the will of God? Now you know. That's what I have to say. Bye for now.